رسول الله يا حبيب.
نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على سيدنا ومولانا محمد رسوله النبي الأمين المكين الحنين الكريم الرؤوف الرحيم. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وعباد الرحمن الذين يمشون على الأرض هونا وإذا خاطبهم الجاهلون قالوا سلاما والذين يبيتون لربهم سجدا وقياما. صدق الله مولانا العظيم. Alhamdulillah Ta'ala, this is second session of our 3 days camp. I'm going to give Dars on Tasawuf, spirituality. And before we proceed further, I will quote, this would be a different thing, and you will be getting this special thing for the first time from me. I would like to quote the continuous and connected chains for this Dars of Tasawwuf and Ulum of Tasawwuf and Ruhaniya to Huzur Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam Shaykh ul-Qadri Jilani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And then there are connected and continuous chains up for every other book and every other sheikh. So I'm starting this Dars of Tasawwuf from riwaya of Asanid Muttasila, the connected and continuous chain up to Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam Shaykh ul-Qadri Jilani. For all of his books, Khuniyatul Talibin, Sirrul Asrar, Futuhul Ghaib, Al-Fathur Rabbani and other books. So we start Dars of Tasawwuf with this ijaza and this isnad. It has been said by the companions of companions, Imam Muhammad bin Sirin, Imam Abdullah bin Mubarak, and Imam Muslim has quoted their sayings in preface of Sahih Muslim. He says, Ad-Deen al-Isnadu min ad-Deen. This isnad, the connected chain, this is a part of Deen. Wanzuru amman ta'khuzuna deenakum. You should see where you are getting your deen, knowledge of deen from. You should know where you are getting the knowledge of your deen from. What is the source of your knowledge of deen? Who has reported this deen to you? Who has quoted and who has related and who has conveyed and communicated this message of deen to you? Because Holy Prophet ﷺ said, Ballighu anni walau aya. So this is the connected muttasil isnad up to Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam, then to Sayyidina Ali al-Murtaza, then to Sayyidina Muhammadun al-Nabiy al-Habib al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I just read it briefly for you. These are 6 different chains. How many? But I'm not going to read the whole thing. Just for barakah, few portions out of these 6 chains. Just so that you may know what are the asanid al-muttasila for us up to Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam Shaykh Abdul Qadir al-Jilani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu and his books. And this, I have compiled all of these chains, and these are in published forms now, and its name is Ad-Durarul Aliyya. Ad-Durarul Aliyya fil Asanid al-Ghawsiyya. These are, it means very super quality pearls in chains, asanid up to Ghawsul Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So the first chain, the chain, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Now the first chain, A'alut Turuq fit Tariqa, that is the chain through Qutbul Arifin, As-Sayyid Al-Shaykh Abdul Rahman Al-Mahz Al-Naqib Al-Baghdadi. This is the first tariq up to Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam Shaykh Abdul Qadri Jilani. He is Imam al-Muhaddiseen and Qutbul Arifin, Al-Shaykh Abdul Rahman Al-Naqib Al-Baghdadi. And I get this connection through my Shaykh, Qudwatul Awliya, Shaykhi wa Murshidi, Sayyidi Tahir Alauddin Al-Afandi Al-Jilani Al-Baghdadi. And he was his grandfather and grand Shaykh, Shaykh Abdul Rahman Al-Naqib. And his chain goes to Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, only with 12 or 13 shuyukh between him and Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam. And this is a sanad al-muttasil. An ila Shaykh Abdul Aziz al-Jilani, an Shaykhi Sayyidina al-Ghawsul Azam, al-Shaykh Abi Muhammad Muhyiddin Abdul Qadir al-Hasani al-Husaini al-Jilani. And then this goes, famous chain of Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam goes to Sayyidina Ali al-Murtaza, through the Imams of Ahlul Bayt and through Imams of Tasawuf. And Sayyidina Ali al-Murtaza says, an Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu qala haddasani habibi wa qurrati aini Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam qala haddasani Jibreel. This is the hadith. Qala sami'tu Rabb al-Izzah. Hazrat Ali says that I listened this from Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He says this was reported to me by Jibreel, and he says this is reported to me by Almighty Allah. Yaqulu la ilaha illallah hisni. La ilaha illallah is my fort. Faman qala dakhala hisni. Whoever recites the zikr, whoever does the zikr of kalima la ilaha illallah, dakhala hisni, he enters into the fort of my protection. Waman dakhala hisni amina min azabi. And whoever enters in my hisn, in my fort, he is protected from the punishment in life hereafter. Second chain I get from my father, Dr. Shaykh Fariduddin Al-Qadri, from his Shaykh Sayyidina Ibrahim Saifuddin Al-Jilani Al-Baghdadi. Then the same goes to Sayyidina Shaykh Abdul Rahman Al-Naqib, and then to Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam, and then to Sayyidina Holy Prophet Muhammad al-Nabi al-Habib al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Second, I will read the final one, the sixth one, finally small, and it is very, very interesting for you, and it is historical thing. The third, again from my father, Shaykh Dr. Fariduddin Al-Qadri, and Shaykh Muhammad Al-Makki bin Muhammad Al-Kittani. This is the chain which he got from Damishq, Ash-Sham. Shaykh Muhammad Al-Makki Al-Kittani. And Shaykh Ali bin Zahir Al-Watri, Ani Sheikh Abdul Ghani al-Muhaddis al-Delvi. This goes to Shah Waliullah Muhaddis al-Delvi, and then goes to Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti, and then through Sheikh Ahmad bin Yaqub al-Maristani goes to Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani. He was his student. So in this third chain, Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Dehlvi and Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti comes in third chain. So I am doing riwayah of these asanid to you for barakah, and I am giving you these chains for ul-Tasawuf, not for muridi. I am not a peer. I don't make murids. For ulum of tariqah, ulum of tasawwuf, and ulum of ruhaniyya, to practice it, to know it, to accept it and practice it. And Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti, rahmatullahi ta'ala, the great muhaddis, the great mufassir, the great wali, the great qutub of his time, and the great mujaddid of his century, Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti. He also comes in this chain of Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And he himself, Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti, is Al-Qadri Ash-Shazili. He practices the tariqah Ash-Shaziliya. Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti al-Muhaddis. You should know that this thing has not been created by the people of India. This has come through the great muhaddiseen. And Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti has written a very significant and original book, authoritative book on tasawwuf. Its name is Tayeedul Haqeeqat-e-Aliyya in tasawwuf. And this Sayyidina Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti, the mujaddid and qutub of his time and muhaddis. So this was the third chain I gave to you for barakah. The fourth chain, up to Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam in ul-Tasawwuf, which I am quoting, narrating, reporting to you, is through Imam Yusuf bin Ismail Nabhani. And this goes through Imam Ibn Qadama. He was student of Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Fifth one is again through my father, Dr. Sheikh Fariduddin al-Qadri, and he got this from Sheikh Alawi bin Abbas al-Maliki al-Makki. This again go through Sheikh Ahmad bin Muhammad al-Qashashi. This goes to again Imam Jalaluddin Suyuti and Sheikh Abil Abbas al-Hajjar, and then to Huzur Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, muttasilan, continuously. These are the 5 chains, and the last and unique and shocking thing is the As-Sanadu Sadis. This is Aqrabu Turuk fil Isnad, the shortest chain, I think, which is available in the whole world on this earth, up to Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam in his ulum at-tasawwuf. This is the 6th one, and I read this for you. This one I am going to read completely. In this chain, we get connected with Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu only having 5 shuyukh between us, me and Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam radiyallahu. Only 5. Only 5 teachers between us and Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. This is a unique chain, Aqrabu Turuk fil Isnad. As-Sanadu Sadis Arwi Ani Shaykh Hussain bin Ahmad Usairan. This is the student of Imam Nabhani. And Arvi Lakum. You may also say Ani Shaykh. You also say with me, Hussain bin Ahmad Usairan. Usairan. Ani Shaykh, he got this from his Sheikh Sayyid Ahmad bin Muhammad As-Sanusi. Sayyid Ahmad bin Muhammad As-Sanusi. His Sheikh of Sheikh Hussain bin Ahmad Usairan. He got the sanad and ijaza of ul-Qadri of books of Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu from his father and Sheikh, Muhaddis and Wali, Sheikh Sayyid Muhammad bin Muhammad As-Sanusi. Sheikh Muhammad bin Muhammad As-Sanusi. And he got from Imam Muhammad bin Ali As-Sanusi At-Tarablasi. So many shuyukh. Sheikh Hussain bin Ahmad Usairan is one. Second, Sheikh Ahmad bin Muhammad As-Sanusi. Third, Sheikh Sayyid Muhammad bin Muhammad As-Sanusi. And fourth, Imam Muhammad bin Ali As-Sanusi At-Tarablasi. Fourth. And he got this ijaza and sanad and ulum from a sheikh, from a wali, from a muhaddis, a great imam, and his name is Shaykh al-Muammar As-Sayyid Al-Sharif Abdul Aziz Al-Hafid Al-Habashi. You say Al-Shaykh Al-Sayyid Abdul Aziz Al-Hafid Al-Habashi. And this great Shaykh and Wali, he lived for 695 years. He lived up to 695 years. And he was in Habasha. And one riwayah says that he lived for 520 years. إِنَّهُ عَاشَ مِنَ الْعُمْرِ 20 و500 سنة. وفي رواية أخرى التي ذكرها الشيخ المحدث عبد الحي الكتاني وحققها في كتابه فهرس الفهارس والأثبات. This is an authoritative book on muhaddisin, Asma'ur Rijal. This is an authoritative, comprehensive book on Asbat and Asma'ur Rijal. From Damashq, this was a great Imam and Muhaddis of Damashq, Syria. He wrote this book on 3 volumes. Its name is Fahrisul Faharis wal Asbat. And he says, Kanat Viladatu Shaykh Sayyid Abdul Aziz Al-Hafid Al-Habashi. Fil Yom Salis. He was born on Tuesday. Min Rabi al-Awwal. Am 71 و500. In 581. 81 و500. 581 Hijri. وهو عاش 700 سنة إلا 5 سنين. And he lived for 695 years. And he, Shaykh Sayyid Abdul Aziz Al-Hafid Al-Habashi, was a direct student of Imam Ibn Hajar Asqalani. So we get connected in hadith with Imam Ibn Hajar Asqalani through Shaykh Abdul Aziz Al-Habashi, just having with 5 shuyukh between us. And he was again a direct student of Shaykh Al-Akbar, Sayyidina Muhyiddin ibn al-Arabi. He was a direct student of Shaykh Akbar, Muhyiddin ibn al-Arabi. And this Shaykh Abdul Aziz Al-Hafid Al-Habashi was a direct student of Sayyidina Shaykh Sayyid Abdul Razzaq Al-Jilani, son of Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani. He was student of his son. And he got all of his ijazat from his father, Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. So this is the 6th chain, As-Sanadu Sadis, Aqrabu Turuq fil Asnad. And all these asanid are muttasil, connected, continuous, and these are for Ghuniyatul Talibin, Sirrul Asrar, Al-Fathul Rabbani and Futuhul Ghaib, وَمِنْ عُلُومِ التَّصَوُّفِ وَالطَّرِيقَةِ وَالْمَعْرِفَةِ. So I have quoted and I have done the riwayah of al-Asanid al-Muttasila ila Sayyidina al-Ghawth al-Azam Shaykh Abdul Qadir al-Kilani. And by the barakah of Sayyidina Ghawth al-Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, we are starting the Dars of Ulum of Tasawwuf today now. With this isnad. So as if we are getting continuously according to the tariqah and ilmul isnad from Sayyidina Ghawth al-Azam through various 6 chains, and his ulum through these 6 roads are directly coming to you in this camp. And now this was the purpose of reading of these asanid al-muttasila ila Sayyidina al-Ghawth al-Azam, so that we may start our dars of tasawwuf with these asanid. Now we are on the roads, and the roads are getting the blessing from Sayyidina Ghawth al-Azam, the light. You know, in the very beginning, in early 80s, we adopted the name of Rafiq. You remember? And all of you are very well aware of this term, Rufaqa, the associates. I got this term from Holy Quran, Surah An-Nisa, Hasuna ulaika rafiqa. Man yuti Allah wa Rasul, ulaika ma'alladhina an'ama Allahu alayhim minan nabiyyina was-siddiqina wash-shuhada'i was-salihin. Hasuna ulaika rafiqa. This was a connection of this rafaqat with Anbiya, with Shuhada, with Salihin, and with Siddiqin. Rafiq means sahib, brother, friend, and rafaqat means company, friendship and company. Rafaqat means brotherhood, friendship, and company. Repeat these words. Rafaqah. You are Rafiq and Rafiqah. And Rafiq and Rafaqa means brotherhood, al-Khuwa, and friendship, al-Rafaqa. Again Khuwa. And company, as-Suhbah. So this is al-Khuwa was-Suhbah. Al-Ukhuwa was-Suhbah. In friendship you can say al-Khilla and al-Khulla. Al-Khalil, al-Rafiq, al-Sahib, al-Khalil, al-Musahib, al-Akhi, al-Akh, al-Khalil, al-Sahib, al-Ukhuwa, al-Khilla, and as-Suhbah. This is the meaning of the word, the term which we possess. So now, bihamdillah ta'ala, now a turning point in our history of our movement is coming. And inshallah ta'ala, I want to make sure that the Rufaqa should adopt the real meanings of this term. The real meanings of this term. They should adopt and practice. And this is the main spirit of Tasawwuf, an essence of the teachings of Tasawwuf. And this is the essence of spirituality. When we talk of Tasawwuf, some people again think as if Tasawwuf and spirituality is an innovation, or this is something which has emerged from Indian subcontinent. or from non-Arab, un-Islamic culture. This is absolutely wrong, a very big misunderstanding. At present, I am not starting the discussion from Holy Quran and Ahadith. We will discuss these things inshallah later. But I am starting the subject of tasawwuf from al-A'immatul Arba', the four great Imams of fiqh, the four great authorities of Ummah. Al-A'immatul Arba'. We start the subject of tasawwuf from these four authorities. And keep in your mind that tasawwuf, when we talk in Minhajul Quran, when we talk of tasawwuf, we don't want, tasawwuf in fact is not the name. This is the meaning which we need. Tasawwuf is not a name. Tasawwuf itself is a meaning. Tasawwuf is not a custom. It is not just a tradition and convention. It is reality. Inner reality. It is essence of deen. And this is the spiritual experience of deen. Tasawwuf is based in sincerity. And it is based on sincerity. Tasawwuf is based on tawbah, repentance. And what is tasawwuf? After achieving the stage of repentance, tawbah, you enter into the stage of war'a, abstention. Tawbah is repentance. Simple meaning, from your sins. And wara is abstention from its commission. Abstention from all kinds of sins, all kinds of prohibited things. Then third stage, tasawwuf, is zuhud, renunciation. Renunciation. Renunciation, when you eliminate the love of this world and the love of anything which takes you away from Almighty Allah, when you take every kind of love out of your heart and make your heart empty for Allah's love and create a space for Allah's company. As I said, be detached from everything and become attached to the company of Almighty Allah. So taking love of everything that takes you away from God, the love of the world, the love of money, the lust of money, the love of money, of the world, of all other desires which take you away from Allah, which take you away from the nearness of Allah, which deprive you from the blessed company of Almighty Allah, which deprive you from the blessed closeness of Almighty Allah. Taking all these things away from your heart, this is renunciation. And making your attachment exclusive to Allah, this is zuhud. So you start from tawbah, enter into wara, and come to zuhud. And then through zuhud, you adopt al-akhlaqul hasana, the beautiful morals, values given by Quran and Sunnah. You adopt the akhlaqul hasana by following holy prophets sallallahu alaihi wasallam sunnah. And then you convert your whole life into al-adabus salihah, spiritual and pious etiquettes and manners, pious and beautiful etiquettes and manners. So this is the whole of tasawwuf. Actual tasawwuf is al-akhlaqul hasana, beautiful morals, and al-adabus salihah, pious etiquettes. When we go towards the teachings of Quran and Sunnah, tasawwuf starts from Quran and from the Sunnah of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Sufism, the spiritualism. In Quran, tasawwuf was known as at-tazkiyah, the Quranic term, which was used in the beginning. Originally, tasawwuf was introduced as tazkiyah in Holy Quran when it was stated, Yatlu alaykum ayatina wa yuzakkikum wa yuallimukumul kitaba wal hikmah. Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam recites the verses of Almighty Allah on you. Wa yuzakkikum, and He purifies yourselves, your minds. Wa yuallimukumul kitab, and then He inculcates knowledge in your mind, intellect. Then He gives you the knowledge of kitab, the Quran and Sunnah, wal hikmah, and then He gives you the wisdom of deen. So first was the recitation of Holy Quran to provide you a link, a relationship and connection with verses of Almighty Allah, the divine message of Almighty Allah with the words. Then purification of mind. This purification of mind is the basis of tasawwuf. Purification, self-purification. Then comes education, then comes wisdom. Then comes wisdom. So tasawwuf was originally introduced in the form of at-tazkiyah, the purification. Then Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam again introduced it through his hadith under the term of al-ihsan. So two terms were given for tasawwuf in Quran and Sunnah, at-tazkiyah and, you see, al-ihsan. At-tazkiyah is the purification, and al-ihsan is spiritual perfection. Al-ihsan is the spiritual perfection. You start from purification, you start from recitation, and you enter into the process of purification. You clean, this is a process of cleansing of inner self, cleansing of mind, cleansing of hearts, cleansing of souls, cleansing of inner selves from the dirt of wrong desires, dirt of wrong wishes, dirt of wrong propensities. To wash your heart and mind and soul from wrong desires, wrong inclinations, wrong wishes, wrong propensities, wrong characteristics, wrong etiquettes. This is a process of perfect cleansing of inner self. When you clean your inner self and purify your mind, it means you have begun the process of tasawwuf in the form of at-tazkiyah, only then you will be allowed to enter into the valley of al-ihsan. Because purification of tazkiyah is the effort which you have to make, is an amal, is an endeavor, is a struggle. It is an effort which you put in through your day, in your days and nights. And through this long effort and struggle, you entered into the great, illuminated, blessed valley of al-ihsan. And al-ihsan is a spiritual state. Al-ihsan is a spiritual condition. Al-ihsan is a spiritual position where you stand and watch the beauty of Almighty Allah. This is a spiritual station where you stand and observe the light of Almighty Allah, His divine beauty, His endless beauty, His everlasting blessings start showering on your heart. The divine light starts showering on your soul, and in this light you get illuminated. The veils and curtains are removed when you are standing on the position of ihsan. And then you observe the light of divinity, the divine beauty of Almighty Allah. And then you go into prostration and say, Allahu Akbar. Almighty Allah, I have seen you are the great. Nothing like you. This is al-ihsan. And Holy Prophet ﷺ said that this is the perfection of iman. This is in hadith of Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. Muttafaq alayh. Both Imams, Bukhari and Muslim, report that Sayyidina Jibreel Amin, Sayyidina Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu reports it. He says, Sayyidina Jibreel Amin, in the form of a traveler, a villager, came in the company of Holy Prophet. Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting with us. And he asked him about Iman. What is Iman? Mal Imanu ya Rasulullah. Holy Prophet replied and gave him the answer in the form of the tenets of faith, the basic particles of faith, articles of faith. He said, An tu'mina billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi ila yawmil akhir. Iman is that you should have your faith in Allah. You should believe in Allah and in the angels and in prophets and messengers and in divinely revealed books and in the day of judgment, life hereafter, resurrection. So if you believe in these basic articles, this is Iman. So Iman became the article of faith. The article of faith, this is Iman, the basis of Iman. Then that person asked the same, what is Islam? The companions are sitting, listening to him. Then he asked the second question, what is Islam? Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Al-Islam. Then he repeated the basic elements of Islam, the 5 pillars of Islam. Shahada of Tawheed and Risala, and Iqamatul Salah, and Ita'uz Zakah, the 5 times establishing the prayers and alms and zakah and performing of Hajj and fasting of the month of Ramadan. So he mentioned the 5 basic pillars of Islam as Islam. So this became the article of practice. Then he asked another question. Mal ihsan, Ya Rasulullah. Ya Rasulullah, what is ihsan? Now, my dear brothers and sisters, the basic thing which you have to ponder that had Islam been consisted only of two things, the Aqidah and Amal, then he would have never asked the third question, or Holy Prophet ﷺ would have never answered him for third question. He would have said, the matter of Iman and Islam is finished and there is nothing left. He asked about Iman and Holy Prophet replied, Iman is this. Then he asked about Islam and Holy Prophet replied and said, Islam is this. So it means that Iman became the faith and Islam became the practice in the form of pillars of Islam. And faith in the form of tenets, basic tenets, fundamental tenets of faith. The third question means, what is ihsan? It means there is something else left after Iman and ihsan. There is something more needed. The story does not finish and the story does not end just on Iman and ihsan. It goes further. And Holy Prophet said, Al-ihsanu an ta'budallaha ka'annaka tarahu. فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. Holy Prophet ﷺ said that ihsan, now you just try to understand that answering about Iman, he gave the basic tenets of faith. Answering the question of Islam, he gave the basic practices of Islam. So tenets are here, the faith is here, and the complete practice of Islam is here. Now, replying the question of ihsan, he didn't mention any tenet of faith or any practice of Islam. Any act, any deed, any amal was not mentioned. He said, Al-ihsanu an ta'budallaha ka'annaka tarahu. This is a kafiyya. This is a spiritual feeling and attainment of a special spiritual position. And what is the position? He said, the ihsan is a spiritual position which you have to attain, that when you worship and pray or worship and stand in front of Almighty Allah, you should feel ka'annaka tarahu, as if the curtains have been removed, ka'annaka tarahu, and I am seeing Almighty Allah. You should feel like seeing Almighty Allah. You should feel like seeing Almighty Allah and His light and His beauty. So you should feel, if you feel like that, this feeling is a spiritual position, is a spiritual station. Then it means you are in a state of ihsan. فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ, if you don't feel like that, if you are unable to feel, you are seeing Almighty Allah. If you don't feel yourself on this spiritual station, this spiritual position, then at least you should feel that He is seeing you. So, ihsan is a feeling, either this way or that way. This is essentially a feeling, neither an act of faith nor an act of practice. This is a feeling, and feeling is an act of heart. It is an act of soul. It is a spiritual experience. You should experience like that. And second thing is, the second meaning, if you feel you are seeing Almighty Allah, this is the position of mushahada. Holy Prophet said, now I am concluding his reply, answering, summarizing the answer. He said, Al-Ihsanu anta abudallaha ka'annaka tarahu. He said the first and higher stage of ihsan is the state, the position of mushahada. And if you are not in the state of mushahada, then ihsan is muraqabah. فَإِنَّهُ يَرَاكَ. If you see him, this is mushahada. If you feel that he is seeing you, this is meditation and muraqabah. If you feel you see him. So this spiritual position is known as mushahada. You are seeing him. And if you feel, I can't see him, but he is seeing me, then this is muraqabah. So al-ihsan is either mushahada or muraqabah, and this is tasawwuf. And this muraqabah and mushahada, both things need mujahada. Both things need mujahada. You can't feel that he is seeing you. Everybody knows that Allah is seeing us. Don't you know? Everybody knows. When we commit the sins, don't we know that Allah is seeing us? Allah is seeing me. Everybody knows. So this is in our knowledge that Allah sees me. So it means knowledge is not ihsan. Knowledge, only the knowledge doesn't work for tasawwuf. Only the knowledge doesn't work for tazkiyah. Only the knowledge doesn't work for ihsan. Only the knowledge doesn't work for muraqabah. And only the knowledge doesn't work for mushahada. Knowledge remains on earth. You have to raise yourself little bit higher. Because everybody has the knowledge that he sees me, but knowledge is not working. Knowledge is not protecting you from committing the sins. Knowledge is not providing you the abstention. Knowledge is not providing you wara'ah. Knowledge is not providing you taqwa, the piety, the wariness. This knowledge is not providing you zuhd, denunciation. This knowledge is not providing you the nearness, qurb. Knowledge is not providing you the meeting, visal. Knowledge is not providing you the meditation, muraqabah. And knowledge is not providing you the observation, mushahada. Knowledge is nowhere when the matter comes to the relationship. Knowledge is just to know something. And ihsan is to get something. To get hold of something. To get possession of something. Knowledge is just to walk around. And ihsan is to just enter in the thing. Knowledge takes you around the city, around the house. It is just, you walk around. But when you enter into the valley, it means you are in the house. So knowledge doesn't take you in. Knowledge keeps you on the roads. Keeps you on the roads. That's why ulama always walk on the roads. And awliya are those who live in. Allah. Ulama are those who know him. And awliya are those who live with him. Hi. Ulama, they have al-ilm. And awliya, they have al-wilaya. Ulama, they have the knowledge of his sharia. Ilm is of two kinds. One is the knowledge of sharia, and the other is the knowledge of sender of sharia. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal used to sit in the company of Hazrat Bishr al-Hafi and Hazrat Abi Hamza al-Baghdadi and other great awliya of his time. Somebody asked and objected Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal's practice, asked that the whole people right from east to west come to you to get the knowledge of Sharia. They come to you and ask about Sharia. They ask you about Sharia. Everybody from east to west, all ulama, comes to you to ask about Sharia. And this is shocking. Why do you go to Bishr al-Hafi, a wali, a sheikh who is barefooted and walks around in the streets of Baghdad barefooted and looks like a madman? Looks like a madman. Why you go to him? What do you ask from him? Everybody comes to you and asks about Sharia. Why you go to him? He said, I endorse your comments. All people in this world, they are in need of knowing the Sharia. So they come to me. And I am in need of knowing the Rabb of Sharia, the Sahibu Sharia. So the knowledge of Sharia, good knowledge, the best knowledge of Sharia has been given to me. So you come to me. But I feel myself in need of knowing something about Allah, the one who sent the Sharia. So Bishr Hafi knows Allah better than me. And I know Sharia better than you. I know Sharia better than you. And he knows the Rabb better than me. So when I get a seclusion in his company, and I am alone, everybody goes away then, and I remain alone in his company, then I ask, oh Bishr Hafi, tell me something about my Mawla. Tell me something about the Rabb. Then he tells me about Rabb. That's why I go to him. So you may note the reference of this whole event. Sayyidina Data Ganjbakhsh Ali Hujweri, he quotes this thing in his book Kashful Mahjub. And then I will give you the other references also in my lecture. So I was telling that ihsan takes you beyond the limits of knowledge and beyond the limits of faith and beyond the limits of practice. It takes you to the horizons of spiritual perfection. Horizons of spiritual perfection, where you can watch and see. So Holy Prophet said, Anta abudallaha ka'annaka tarahu. You should feel you are seeing him. And now the second interpretation of this hadith, this was the first. But the higher position is you should be in the condition of mushahada, and the lower position is that at least you should be in the condition of muraqabah. Now there is second interpretation, and that is that anta abudallaha ka'annaka tarahu, ke ihsan is to achieve this position that you are seeing him. Now the question arises, how can we see him? And how can we achieve this position, this esteemed higher spiritual position? How can we achieve? So answer to this question is, فَإِلَّمْ تَكُنْ. If you eliminate yourselves فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ. If you eliminate yourself, if you are not there, if yourself is not, if your existence is not there, is your consciousness is not there, is awareness of yourself is not there, if you remove, eliminate and take away the awareness of your own self, the consciousness of your own self, so if you remove yourself from in between, tarahu, then you will see him. The only thing which is disallowing you to see him is your own self. فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ تَرَاهُ. These are the two meanings. So beginning, Tasawwuf started with at-Tazkiyah and al-Ihsan. And then when Tazkiyah and Ihsan were put into practice, when Tazkiyah and Ihsan were put into practice, historically, Tazkiyah and Ihsan achieved the term of az-Zuhd. Achieved the term of az-Zuhd. And Zuhd, I said, it is renunciation. Some people translate it as abstention. But I don't think abstention is a correct translation, although it has been translated like that. Abstention is vara. And piety or wariness is taqwa. And zuhd is renunciation. So it was given the name of zuhd. So in the early centuries, Tasawwuf was known as zuhd. Now, I would like to give you the history, what was written on Tasawwuf. Very in the published form, available in the world. But first, full-fledged, voluminous book written on Tasawwuf, in the name of Az-Zuhd. That was written by Imam Abdullah bin Mubarak. And Imam Abdullah bin Mubarak, one of the great shuyukh of Imam Bukhari, he was a student of Imam Azam Abu Hanifa and one of his friends and students. He wrote the first book, Az-Zuhd wal-Raqa'iq. He died in 181. This was the time when Imam Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawud, Nasai and all of Ashabu Sitta, they had not compiled their own works of hadith when the first book on Tasawwuf was written and compiled. The first book on Tasawwuf, on Kitab-uz-Zuhd wal-Raqa'iq, voluminous book, was written and compiled in a regular form when the books of Sihah Sitta were not compiled yet. So Tasawwuf was compiled before the ilm of hadith. This is significant point. Ilm al-Tasawwuf in the form of ilm al-Zuhd, it was compiled before compilation of ilm al-Hadith. Although this was also compiled in the form of ahadith. This was the time when all branches of knowledge, they were emerging out of hadith. Very important thing. Originally all branches of Islamic knowledge, they emerged from Quran. Quran was the root of all Islamic knowledges and Islamic sciences. But Quran was interpreted and explained and elaborated and practiced and demonstrated in the form of Sunnah of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the detailed and demonstrated knowledge of the Quran was available in the form of Sunnah and Hadith. So at that time, the tafsir of Quran, there is a difference between Quran and ilm al-tafsir. Ilm al-tafsir, in the first century and second century, ilm al-tafsir was based on hadith. Because the people were taking those hadith which Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, his sayings, when he interpreted various verses of Holy Quran. So narration of those ahadith, that's hadith literature, in interpretation of Holy Quran, finally became the basis of ilm al-tafsir. So ilm al-tafsir emerged through hadith. Ilm al-tarikh emerged through hadith and asar of Sahaba. Ilm al-fiqh, ilm al-ahkam, the knowledge of the science of Islamic injunctions, Islamic laws, that also emerged through hadith. I mean basically Quran, and since Quran was interpreted, its detailed, demonstrative version was in the form of Sunnah. So these were two basic sources of all sciences of Islam, Quran and Sunnah. And Sunnah was the comprehensive thing which was interpreting the Holy Quran. And every science and every branch of knowledge given in Holy Quran was being explained in the form of hadith. And now rest of all ulum and sciences and branches of knowledges were emerging out of hadith as roots. So ilm al-hadith was coming out of ilm al-tafsir was coming out from there. Ilm al-ahkam, ilm al-fiqh was coming out, emerging from hadith. Ilm al-akhlaq was emerging out of hadith. Ilm al-tarikh was emerging out of hadith. Then thousands and thousands of the branches of knowledge which came afterwards emerged. Everything primarily was emerging out of Quran and in fact through hadith. So now I am telling you that hadith literature as a whole was compiled afterwards. I mean in hadith Kitab al-Tahara, Kitab al-Iman, Kitab al-Salat, Kitab al-Zakat, Kitab al-Sawm, Kitab al-Ilm, Kitab al-Adab, all chapters of hadith, all books on hadith, all subjects of hadith knowledge, they were compiled later in 3rd century, in the end of 2nd century, in the midst of 2nd century, except ilm al-Tasawuf, ilm al-Tazkiyah, ilm al-Zohd. This was the first subject of Quran and hadith. At-Tasawuf, At-Tazkiyah, Al-Ihsan, Al-Zuhd was the first subject, the first science of Quran and Hadith which was compiled before any other thing was compiled. Have you brought this thing in your mind? This was the first knowledge in Islamic sciences which was compiled before any other knowledge was compiled. You know, Imam Abdullah bin Mubarak is the man through whom ahadith were taken by Anas bin Malik and Imam Bukhari and Ahmad bin Hanbali and Imam Shafi'i and Imam Azam Abu Hanifa and Imam Muslim, Imam Tirmizi. They were the reporters in the higher chains. And he himself is writing and compiling a book on Kitab-uz-Zohd. He took only those ahadith, selected only those ahadith which were given by Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said by Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and which were just on the subject of tasawwuf in the name of zuhud. Then second, Imam Waqi bin al-Jarrah, he died in 197, again before Imam Bukhari and Muslim. He wrote another book on tasawwuf. Its name is Kitab-uz-Zohd, and this book is in 3 volumes. So big, voluminous book. It is also published and available today. So this was again written by Imam Waqi' bin al-Jarrah, again on Tasawwuf. While Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, these were not compiled. Then Imam Ibn Abi Shaybah, he compiled another book on adab. This became the basis of Tasawwuf, Kitabul Adab. Then Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, one of the four Imams, he wrote a book on Tasawwuf. Its name was Haqeeqat-e-Zohd. This book is also published. Then Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal wrote another book on Tasawwuf. Its name was Al-Wara'. Then at the same time, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal died in 241. And Imam Haris bin Asad al-Muhasibi, a great Sufi Imam, he died in 243, the same time of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal's age. He wrote a book, Al-Qasd wa-Ruju' ila-Allah, book on Tasawwuf. He wrote another book on Tasawwuf, Al-Masail fil Zuhd. He wrote another third book on Tasawwuf, Ar-Ri'aya li Huquqillah. He wrote another book on Tasawwuf, Al-Wasaya. He wrote another book on Tasawwuf, Risalatul Mustarshideen. I will read something from Risalatul Mustarshideen tomorrow for you. And great Imams of Tasawwuf quote their quotings from these books. So this Imam Haris bin Asad al-Muhasibi wrote many books on Tasawwuf. And Risalatul Mustarshideen and Kitabul Zuhd. Then comes the period of Imam Bukhari. At least 14 to 15 books. There were many other books written, but they are not published. I am talking of those books which are published, available in published forms. So published books, among the published books, at least 15 big books on Tasawwuf were compiled when Imam Bukhari compiled Sahih al-Bukhari. Before compilation of Sahih al-Bukhari, dozens of books on Tasawwuf were written, compiled, and they are readily available now in published forms. And all narrators, reporters, and ruwat, and rijal, and shuyukh, through whom the writers of Tasawwuf took ahadith of Holy Prophet, all of them were the rijal and shuyukh and ruwat of Imam Bukhari, Muslim, and Tirmidhi. It means the chains are same, the people are the same, the rijal are the same, ruwat are the same, reporters are the same, narrators are the same, shuyukh and teachers are the same are reporting the ilm of Tasawwuf and narrating, and the same are relating the ilm of Tasawwuf, and the same shuyukh are relating other ahadith to Imam Bukhari, Muslim, and Tirmidhi. So question arises, why their narrations are to be accepted if they are in Bukhari, and their narrations are not to be accepted if they are in Abdullah bin Mubarak and Waqi bin Jarrah and Ahmad bin Hanbal and Hasr bin Muhasibi? Which books were written before these books? The people are same. You understand the point? They were reliable authorities, reliable narrators. They were al-Rijal, al-Siqat, al-Aimmat, al-Adilun, al-Siqat, Ashabul Zabt, Ashabul Adl, authorities. The same authorities were giving the knowledge of Tasawwuf through their own chains, and the same authorities were giving the other aspects of hadith to other books. Then comes Imam Bukhari. He was also a Sufi and Wali. And Imam Bukhari had a hair of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with him. He had a Mu'e Mubarak, Imam Bukhari rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh, with him. And he used to do ziyarah of that hair of Holy Prophet every night before he went to sleep. And whenever he slept, he used to keep the Mu'e Mubarak, the hair of Holy Prophet, with him. and do ziyarah of them throughout his life. This was Imam Bukhari. So he was a man of tasawwuf and spirituality. He wrote a full-fledged book on adab, and adab is tasawwuf. Al-Adabul Mufrad. And about 60 to 70% of the subject material of this book relates to the subjects of tasawwuf. About more than 60% of the book material. Although rest of the thing, the whole deen adab is tasawwuf. Then Imam Bukhari compiled his own book Sahih, Al-Jami' As-Sahih, and he created a full-fledged chapter on tasawwuf in Sahih Bukhari. Imam Bukhari brought a full-fledged chapter on the subject of tasawwuf in Sahih Bukhari and gave this chapter the name Kitabur Riqaq. Like Imam Abdullah bin Mubarak, he gave Kitabuz Zuhd war Raqa'iq. These were the same name. So he brought a chapter Kitabur Riqaq, and this Kitabur Riqaq chapter and hadith, he collected all those hadiths which were relevant and directly related to the subject and meanings and topics of tasawwuf. Then Imam Bukhari again brought a book of Al-Manaqib, and he made a book on Kitabud Da'wat, and he made a book on Kitab Al-Fada'il, and many hadiths in Kitabul Itisam bil Kitab wa Sunnah, and many hadiths in Kitabut Tawheed, and many hadiths in Kitabul Iman. And then scattered in whole of Jami' al-Sahih lil Bukhari, he brought hundreds of hadiths which he compiled in Sahih Bukhari. They were on the subject of at-tazkiyah wal ihsan wal zuhud wal raqa'iq wal tasawwuf. Then comes Imam Muslim. He did the same. In his Sahih Muslim, he made a book Kitabur Riqaq. He made another book Kitabuz Zuhd war Raqa'iq. He fixed two books, and hundreds of hadiths were again scattered in the whole of Jami' al-Sahih lil Muslim on that particular subject. Then Imam Ibn Majah in his Sunan, he fixed a book Kitabuz Zuhd. Other Imams and Sufiya, they wrote separate books, and they brought the books, same books on tasawwuf in their big volumes. Kitabuz Zuhd in Ibn Majah, and Kitabul Adab in Abi Dawud, and Kitabuz Zuhd in Jami' at-Tirmidhi also, and Kitabul Raqa'iq wal Wara in Jami' at-Tirmidhi. So all Siha Sittah, they wrote books and compiled chapters in their Jami'at and Sunan on the subject of Zuhud, Tasawwuf, Raqa'iq. Then Imam Tirmidhi wrote another book, Awsafun Nafs, purely on Tasawwuf, Imam Tirmidhi. Then Imam Ibn Abi Hatim, who died in 277, Ibn Abi Hatim, the great Imam of Hadith, he wrote a book on Sharh Asma'illah al-Husna on Tasawwuf. Then Muhammad bin Ali at-Tirmidhi wrote Nawadirul Usul. Then great Imam of Hadith, Imam Ibn Abi Dunya, he wrote more than 10 books on Tasawwuf. Imam Ibn Abi Dunya, Al-Ishraf fi Manazil al-Ashraf. Imam Ibn Abi Dunya wrote his book Al-Awliya. Imam Ibn Abi Dunya wrote Kitabut Tawakkul ala Allah, Husnul Zann Billah, Kitabul Hilm, Dhammul Baghi, Dhammul Dunya, Kitabul Wara, Kitabul Shukr, Kitabul Hifzil Lisan, Kitabul Ghiba wal Namima, Kitabul Muhasibatin Nafs, Makarimul Akhlaq, Kitabul Riqqa, Ar-Riqqa wal Buka, Al-Hammu wal Huzn. All these books were written by great Imam of Hadith, Imam Ibn Abi Dunya, on Tasawwuf. Then Imam Abu Sa'id al-Kharraz al-Baghdadi wrote on Tasawwuf Kitabus Sidq, At-Tariqus Salima. Then Imam Ibn Abi Asim wrote books on Tasawwuf. Imam Abu Abdullah Muhammad bin Nasr al-Marwazi wrote on Kitabuz Zuhd on Tasawwuf. Then lot many other A'immah, they wrote on Tasawwuf. Then came Imam Kushairi. Then came Imam Asbahani. Then came Imam Qurtubi. Then came Imam Abu Talib Makki. Then Imam Abu Nasr Siraj Tusi. Then Imam Abu Abdurrahman As-Sulami. Then Imam Abu Nu'aym Al-Asbahani Al-Muhaddis. Then Imam Ibn Hazm. All these Aimma of Hadith, Tafsir, Fiqh and Tasawwuf, they wrote dozens and dozens of books on Tasawwuf in their times. Then comes Imam Shaykh al-Islam Abdullah al-Ansari. He wrote Manazil al-Sa'irin. Then Sahibul Risala al-Qushayriya, Imam Abu al-Qasim Qushayri. Then Imam Bayhaqi, he wrote on Tasawwuf Az-Zohd al-Kabir, Ad-Dawat al-Kabir. Then came Imam Ghazali and he wrote many books on Tasawwuf. Then Sayyidina Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, many books on Tasawwuf. And then the people went on going, the Aimma, Ulama, Muhaddiseen, Awliya, and thousands of books were written on Tasawwuf and Zohd in this history. I quoted all these names just to establish the fact that Tasawwuf is not something which came into existence in later centuries, or which was written or which was compiled very late after the Siyasita and other books. No. The basic objective and the purpose of quoting all these names with historical references was to let you know that Tasawwuf was even compiled before other branches of Hadith were compiled, even before the Siyasita. And then, very important thing which I would like to tell you, Imam Abu Nu'aym Asbahani, a great Imam and Muhaddis, he was born in 336 and died in 430. He wrote a book on Hilyatul Awliya. Imam Abu Nu'aym Al-Asbahani, a great Imam of Hadith. Hilyatul Awliya. And this was one of the biggest books on Awliya and Sufiya and their life. And he wrote on 1502 Awliyaullah of the Ummah. 1502 Awliya and Sufiya, starting from Sahaba, Tabi'een, Tab'a Tabi'een and Mutaqaddimeen. Imam Asbahani. 1502 Awliya Allah's life sketch and their life knowledge in his book. Then Imam Abu Abdurrahman As-Sulami, who was born in 325, just near the period of Imam Bukhari, Muslim and Imam Tirmizi. Soon after, Imam Sulami, he wrote a great book, Tabaqat-us-Sufiya, and compiled the chapter in the form of Tasawwuf chapters, 188 life sketches of Awliya and Sufiya. Then Imam Abdul Rauf Al-Manawi, a great Muhaddis, Imam Abdul Rauf Al-Manawi, a Muhaddis, a Usuli, the man of Naqd Jarh, the man of Ta'dil, the man of Usulul Hadith, the man of Fanni Hadith, Imam Abdul Rauf Al-Manawi. He wrote a great book, At-Tabaqat-us-Sufiyya, Al-Kubra wa-Sughra, and again compiled the life sketch of Sufiya. 1502 again, starting from Sahaba, Tabi'in, Tab'a Tabi'in and Qurun-e-Ula, Awliya of Qurun-e-Ula. Al-Kawakib al-Durriya wa Tabaqat-us-Sufiyya of Imam Abdul Rauf Al-Manawi. It means that the great Awliya, Muhaddiseen and Imams of Hadith, they have been writing on Tasawwuf and they have been compiling the life knowledge about the life sketch of Sufiya. And they are the great sources of the science of Tasawwuf for this world. Now coming to Al-Aimmatul Arba'ah, the four great Imams of fiqh. First of all, Imam Azam Abu Hanifa. Imam Azam Abu Hanifa, he himself was a great Sufi, rather Imam Sufiya. He was Imam of Muhaddiseen, he was Imam of Fuqaha, and he was Imam of Sufiya and Awliya. The first reference of Imam Azam Abu Hanifa I want to quote. That is a very famous book, Durrul Mukhtar. And then Hashiyah ibn Abidin, a great scholar, fiqhi and muhaddis of Hanafi fiqh. A great book of Hanafi fiqh. Imam Alauddin Muhammad bin Ali al-Asari, Hasfaqi al-Hanafi, in his book he writes, and he writes in Ad-Durrul Mukhtar then, and in the Hashiyah of Ibn Abidin, it is quoted and it is reported that Imam Abul Qasim Kushairi writes, Imam Abul Qasim Kushairi, he is one of the shuyukh of Data Ganjbakhsh Ali al-Hujwari, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Data Ganjbakhsh Ali Hujwari quotes his quotations from Risala Kushairiyah. He was one of his great teachers, grand teachers. Imam Abul Qasim Kushairi, author of the famous book on Tasawuf, Ar-Risala al-Kushairiyah, he writes, Ana akhaztu hazihi tariqah. I am quoting the words of Imam Abul Qasim al-Kushairi. He says, Ana akhaztu hazihi tariqah an Abil Qasim an-Nasr Bazi. He says, I got this tariqah of tasawwuf from Shaykh Abul Qasim an-Nasr Bazi. Waqala Shaykh Abul Qasim, Ana akhaztuha min al-Shaykh al-Shibli. He says, I got tariqah of tasawwuf from Shaykh Shibli. وَهُوَ أَخَذَهَا مِنَ السَّرِي السَّقَطِ. He says, I got tariqah of tasawwuf from Shaykh Sari as-Saqati, who is buried in Baghdad. And Shaykh Sari as-Saqati says, I got this huwa min Shaykh Maruf al-Karhi. He got this from Shaykh Maruf Karhi. He said, I got this from Shaykh Dawood at-Ta'i. And he says, Huwa akhaz al-ilma wat-tariqa min al-Imam Abi Hanifa. So he says, I got the tariqa of tasawwuf from a Shaykh Imam Azam Abu Hanifa. So Imam Azam Abu Hanifa, rahmatullah ta'ala, is the Shaykh of Imam Abul Qasim Kushairi in this sanad. He is peer of Imam Abul Qasim Kushairi, Shaykh al-Tariqa. Jaddu Shuyukh as-Sufiyya. And I have quoted this reference from Hashiyah ibn Abidin, volume 1, page 41, and Tabaqat Subki, Imam Subki, he writes in his Tabaqat, volume 5, page 157, and Imam Zahabi, great muhaddis, writes in Siyyaru Alam in Nubala and many other books. Next, now come to Imam Malik. Mulla Ali Qari al-Muhaddis al-Faqih, quoting al-Imam al-Qazi Iyaz, rahimahullah ta'ala, sahib al-Shifa. He quotes Qazi Iyaz. And Mulla Ali Qari says that Imam Malik said, Man tafakkaha walam yatasawwaf faqad tafassaqa, wa man tasawwafa walam yatafakkah faqad tazandaka, wa man jama'a baynahuma faqad tahaqqaqa. The one who achieves the knowledge of fiqh, the science of fiqh, ilmul ahkam, the knowledge of ahkam of sharia, but did not practice tasawwuf, and did not practice the zuhd and tasawwuf, tasawwafa, lam yatasawwaf, did not practice tasawwuf. This is what Imam Malik says. He got astray. And the one who adopts tasawwuf and did not attain the knowledge of ahkam of sharia and fiqh, he also goes astray. وَمَنْ جَمَعَ بَيْنَهُمَا فَقَدْ تَحَقَّقَ. And the one who combines ilmul fiqh and ilmul tasawwuf, ilmul sharia and ilmul tariqah, the one who combines the both, he is the one who gets the reality. And he is the one who gets the truth. This is what Imam Malik says. And this reference, which I have quoted, of Mullah Ali Qari, again, Mullah Ali Qari writes in Sharh al-Shifa, volume 2, page 408. And again he writes in Ainul Ilm wa Zainul Hilm lil Qari. And again in Hashiyatul Adawi ala Sharh Abil Hasan. And again in the book Iqazul Himam, Sharhul Hikam, volume 1, page 5. In many of these authoritative books, the authorities, they have quoted the statement of Imam Malik. Now third, the statement of Imam Shafi'i, the third Imam of fiqh. Al-Imam al-Muhaddis Ismail bin Muhammad al-Ajaluni, he writes in his book Kashful Khifa, and he narrates Anil Imam al-Shafi'i, Kashful Khifa, volume 1, page 408. 408. Imam al-Ajaluni, Muhaddis, he says, Imam Shafi'i said, Hubbiba ilayya min dunyakum thalath. Tarkut takalluf wa ishratul khalqi bit talattuf wal iqtida'u bi tariqit tasawwuf. This is what Imam Shafi'i says. He says, "O people, O my students, only three things from this whole world. I love three things from this whole world. I like and love three things from this world. Number one, tarkut takalluf, simplicity. Ishratul khalqi bit talattuf, generosity with the people. Simplicity in life, generosity in behavior. Wal iqtida'u bi tariqit tasawwuf, and following the way of tasawwuf. I love these three things in this whole world. Simplicity in life, generosity in the behavior with other people, dealing with other people, and following the path of tasawwuf. This is what Imam Shafi'i said. And fourth, Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, Al-Imam Al-Muhaddis Muhammad bin Ahmad Al-Hanbali. He is a great usuli, an Imam of Hadith. He writes in his book Ghiza'ul Albab, Sharh Manzumat al-Adab, volume 1, page 120. A great muhaddis and fiqih of al-Mazhab al-Hanbali. He writes and narrates about Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. He quotes an Ibrahim bin Abdullah al-Qalansi, قال إن الإمام أحمد بن حنبل قال عن الصوفية. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal said about the Sufiya, he said, لا أعلم أقواما أفضل أي من الصوفية. He said, I don't know in this whole world any group of people better than Sufiya Karam. This is the statement of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. He said, I am not aware of any people better than Sufiya. Subhanallah. Then Qila, he was asked, somebody sitting in his company, he asked a question. Qila yastami'una wa yatawajadun. He said, oh Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, you say that no group of people is better than the group of Sufiya. This is your statement. But somebody asked, one of his students asked, the problem is that they do sima and they do wajd. They do sima and wajd. Ecstasy. What about their ecstasy? Their wajd. What do you say and comment on their wajd? Subhanallah. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal said, Da'uhum yafrahu ma'allahi sa'atan. He said, leave them. Don't discuss their wajd. They enjoy some moments with Allah in prayer. Hi. You ask me about the ecstasy? You are asking me about their wajd? You are asking me what is the reality of their ecstasy, the state of ecstasy? So leave it. Don't discuss about that. Don't comment on this ecstasy, because they enjoy some moments with their beloved Lord Allah in their prayer. Leave them in their prayer when they enjoy some moments with Allah. Wajd is their spiritual enjoyment with Almighty Allah in a prayer, in a condition of prayer. They look at Him and He looks at them. This is the state of ecstasy. At that time, they go far and far away of everything. They come out of everything. They become detached from everything. They forget about everything. Everything is eliminated from their minds. Everything is forgotten from their minds and from their souls and from their hearts. You see, their body is here, but their soul is there. A moment come in prayer. That prayer moment is the state of ecstasy, when they enjoy their love with Almighty Allah. And sometimes they dance and sometimes they do something else. Leave them. And talk and speak on the other subject, what they do in the whole of their life. What do they say? What do they practice? What is their character? What is their sincerity? What is their firmness in Islam? What is their stability? What is their God-fearingness? What is their wariness? What is their piety? What is their sincerity, ikhlas to Almighty Allah? Talk about that. These are some moments of enjoyment with Almighty Allah. This is a state of ecstasy. Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal said this. Subhanallah. Then Imam Abu Mansur Abdul Qahir bin Tahir al-Baghdadi, who died in 429, lot on Tasawuf and Sufiyah. And Ibn Salah wrote about them. And Imam Abu Nu'aym al-Asbahani, he wrote about them. And Imam Zahabi al-Muhaddis wrote about them. And then Imam Fakhruddin Razi wrote about them. The Mufassir, author of Tafsir al-Kabir. And Imam Abu Zakariya Muhyiddin Yahya bin Sharaf An-Nawawi. Imam An-Nawawi himself was a great practicing Sufi and Wali. Himself was a great Sufi and Wali. And he wrote a lot about the Sufiya and Tasawwuf. He himself was a great Sufi and Wali. And his book Riyaz-us-Salihin is Riyaz-us-Salihin. This is the most popular book in the Arab world, as Mishkatul Masabih is the popular book before Siyasitta in the subcontinent, Indo-Pak subcontinent and our countries, the whole of the Arab world, in every mosque you go and see, there is Holy Quran and maybe Tafsir al-Jalalain, and if there is only one book available in every Arab mosque, whether it is Saudi Arabia, it is Gulf or any other country, you will find Riyadus Salihin of Imam Nawawi. And this Imam Nawawi is the greatest Sufi and Wali among the Muhaddiseen. And Imam Nawawi says, Usul Tariq-e-Tasawuf khamsatun. He says that the Tasawwuf is based on 5 principles. Taqwa fi sirri wal i'lan. The piety internally and externally. In your external life, in your behaviors and in your inner self. This is the first principle of Tasawwuf. You know, Tasawwuf is the Zuhd. Tasawwuf is the ihsan. Tasawwuf is the tazkiyah. Tasawwuf is the purification. Tasawwuf is the spiritual excellence. Tasawwuf is the spiritual perfection. Tasawwuf is the spiritual connection with the divinity. Tasawwuf is the only way to get something from Allah and to be connected with the company of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is the only way to practice the spiritual moral values of Islam. There was no mujaddid in 1400 years who was not a wali and Sufi. Every mujaddid, the last 1300 years of Ummah, last 13 centuries, every mujaddid had to be a Sufi and wali. Because no one can do the tajdeed work, the work of revival of Islam, without the spiritual linkage with Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and without the attainment of the position of spiritual excellence with Almighty Allah. If dunya is in the hearts, if the love of dunya is in the hearts, if the lust of dunya is in the hearts, oh my rufaka, oh my friends, oh my brothers, my dear sisters, my dear sons and daughters, let me tell you the reality. You can't achieve the way of Salah. You can't please Holy Prophet and you can't please Almighty Allah. You can't get an-nafsul mutmainna. You can't achieve an-nafsul radiyya. And you can't achieve an-nafsul mardiyya. Neither you can be pleased with Almighty Allah, nor Allah can be pleased with you. Neither you can get the pleasing soul, nor you can get the pleased soul, nor the contented soul, nor the satisfied soul, nor the soul which receives the revelations, nor the soul which can receive the life from divinity. You cannot be allowed to sit in the company of Holy Prophet. You cannot be allowed to see the beautiful face of Almighty Allah unless you purify your inner self. A dirty man would never be allowed to be brought in front of Allah's face. Almighty Allah will never allow a dirty man so that he may look at his face. This vision needs purification. This vision needs taqwa. This vision needs ikhlas. This vision needs at-tahara. This vision needs az-zuhd. This vision needs ibadah. You can't be the lovers of Allah and lovers of the world at the same time. Either be the lovers of Allah or be the lovers of the world. Either get rahmah or get la'na. Two things cannot be combined together. Our hearts are full with the la'na of love of dunya. Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I am not afraid of shirk in my ummah. I am afraid that after I go to Almighty Allah after my death, my ummah will get indulged in love of dunya, in lust of the world, in lust of mal, in lust of wealth, in lust of properties. زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ وَالْقَنَاطِيرِ الْمُقَنطَرَةِ. When Allah becomes angry with the ruler, when Allah becomes angry with the ruler, he becomes zalim. He gets indulged in zulm. When Allah becomes angry with a ruler, he gets indulged in zulm. And when Allah becomes angry with an alim, wallah, he gets indulged in dunya. This is what the Prophet and the awliya, his love to remain in a heart which is the place of love of dunya, which is the dwelling of love of world, love of dunya. If you are the lovers of dunya and the whole day and night you are thinking about dunya and you have forgot the life hereafter, even thinking of life hereafter is the beginning of first step of tasawwuf. This is not tasawwuf and ihsan. To think, to prefer the life hereafter. My brothers and sisters and my dear sons and daughters, just you should look at your hearts, meditate inside your heart. Try to find what love is living there. What kind of love has found place in your hearts? Is there love of dunya, love of houses, lust of money, lust of status, lust of the respect in this world, the worldly wishes and desires? If you find all these desires in your heart, and you find yourself, your mind, your heart and your body and your inner self busy in these dirty affairs, then be aware of the fact that Allah's love has been taken out of your heart. It has gone away. It has said salam to our heart. Qalu salama. Allah's love has gone away, saying, "O heart, you have no place for me. You have place for the love of this material world. I'm going back to my Lord." You have forgotten the words when you are asked, "Alastu bi rabbikum?" Am I not your Lord? And am I not your beloved? And the souls answered, Qalu bala. Oh, our Lord, yes, you are. Since you have forgotten those words, so I have left your heart and going back to my Rabb. Like two enemies can't remain together. In the same way, two loves, love of Allah and love of the material world, two loves cannot remain together in one heart. One has to lead the way. When the time will come, when you will start purifying your hearts, my Rofaka, I want you now to change your lives, to try to understand the meaning of Rafaqah. This is company. Company of whom? What kind of company do you want? What company? Allah's company, Prophet's company, or world's company? Materialistic world's company, it is available. And if you want to get Allah's company, then you have to bring a revolution in your inner self, inner lives. Bring a change. Tasawwuf is, don't consider this is Gadi Nashini, this is Piri, Muridi, this is this and that. I have already told, and same Data Ganjabaksh Ali Hijweri says that Tasawuf does not mean any world, any custom, any convention, any tradition. No. This is a meaning. This is a spiritual state of mind, spiritual condition of your inner self, the purity of your inner self, the piety of your inner self, the sincerity of your inner self, the cleanliness of your inner self from worldly wishes, desires and loves and preferences. Preferences. Change the priorities. I am afraid those who got izzah, respect because of dunya, because of world, if they are indulged in the love of world, they don't have much greater loss, because they have already lost. They have already lost. Because they are trying to get izzah, the respect, honor and power through dunya, through materialistic ways, through money, through status, through worldly materialistic facilities. They are already on the same way, so they have already lost whatever was ought to be lost. They have lost. So now if they are indulged in dunya, they are nothing, they are just increasing their loss. But nothing is being snatched from him. It has already been snatched. Now nothing new is being snatched. They are just increasing in their loss and damage. And those who have got izzah, respect and honor through deen, all of you, every worker and humble servant of Holy Prophet and servant of Islam and member of Minhajul Quran, who claims to work for Islam and work for Holy Prophet and to serve the deen of Islam. And everyone who claims to be having the humble knowledge of Islam, the propagator of Islam, the servant of Islam, the lover of Holy Prophet. So all of us, we have gained any kind of respect, whatever is we have gained through deen, not through dunya. Our respect, our recognition in this world is through deen. And the recognition and respect of the people of dunya is through dunya. And our respect, little or more, lesser or more, minor or major, our respect is through deen. So now try to understand that if the people of dunya, they get more and more indulged in dunya, they just increase their loss and nothing is being snatched from him. And the people of deen, ahlud deen, if they get indulged in hub of dunya, in lust of dunya, they lose everything. They lose Allah's muhabbah. They lose Allah's radha. They lose Holy Prophet's qurbah. They lose nafs of mutmainnah. They lose nafs radiyah. They lose nafs mardiyah, any achievement of these nufus. And they lose love and nearness of Almighty Allah. And finally they lose the respect. Finally they lose the respect. It is lost because they had got the respect through deen, not through dunya. When they themselves are indulged in dunya, so deen's respect goes away from them. Goes away from them. So we are neither here nor there. We are nowhere. We have to choose one of the two paths. दुरंगी छोड़ दे, यक रंग हो जा, सरासर मोम या फिर संग हो जा. Either become totally the man of Allah or become totally the man of world. the man of money. We have already lost our contact and link with Holy Prophet. We have already lost our contact and link and relationship with Almighty Allah. And we are still not realizing it. What kind of rafaqa we are having? What does it mean? We are always talking about dunya. We are always quarreling with each other. We are always criticizing one another. We are always negative to one another. We are always unfair in our practice. We are dishonest in our saying. We are liar. We are dishonest in our deed. Dishonest to others. Dishonest to ourselves. Dishonest to Holy Prophet and dishonest to God. Dishonest to Islam. We have a hypocrisy, a conflict in our zahir and batin. Our external personality which can be seen is different. Look at our inner self. We are something different in our inner self. There is darkness in inner self. And we have put the dresses of taqwa and deen and khidmat of deen in our outer body. Becoming attached to a mission of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Oh my rufaka, my brothers, my sisters, daughters and sons, leave me or be with me. Leave Allah or be with Him. Leave deen or be sincere with deen. We have to adopt one way. We have lost everything. And the basic objective in my mind, I have already done the same in Pakistan for 15 days. And this 3 days camp, this is in fact a spiritual surgery. We are here in a clinic. This is a spiritual surgery for 3 days. Medicine doesn't work. If the state of disease is this, so first of all a surgery is needed. And surgery means a great change which you have to start. And this is the basic purpose of the Dars-e-Tasawuf. Tasawwuf means this spiritual change in our lives. Now, leaving this aspect of academics, aspects of knowledge, coming to what Tasawwuf is, coming to Kashful Mahjoob, what Data Ganjbakhsh Sayyidina Ali Hujweri says, coming to those people now who were the people of Allah, who were the people of sincerity, who were people of purity, who were the people of piety, who were the people of abstention, who were the people of renunciation, who were the people of Allah's company. And Data Ganjbakhsh Sayyidina Ali Hujweri was one of them. He says the knowledge, ilm, is of 3 kinds. Al-ilm min Allah, ilm ma'allah, ilm billah. One is the knowledge from God. Other is the knowledge with God. And third is the knowledge with God, of God. First is the knowledge from God. Second is the knowledge with God. And third is the knowledge of God. To know who our God is. What are His likings? What are His dislikings? Whom He loves and whom He hates. Who are the people He loves them? Who are the people He hates them? Ilm min Allah, the knowledge from God, is Sharia. And al-ilm ma'allah, the knowledge with God, that is tariqah. That is tariqah. And al-ilmu billah, the knowledge of God, that is ma'rifah and haqiqah and ma'rifah. Ilm ma'allah, knowledge with God, is tariqah and haqiqah. The path of haqiqah, that is tariqah. Tariqah is the path of haqiqah, reality. The path of absolute truth. And al-ilm billah, knowledge of Allah, this is ilmul ma'rifah. And he says that unless you achieve the ilmul ma'rifah, the knowledge does not become beneficial. Then Data Ganjbaksh Ali Hujweri says, commenting on Tasawuf, he quotes a hadith of Hazrat Harisa, a companion of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he met Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam early in the morning, and Holy Prophet asked, "Kaifa asbahta ya Harisa?" Harisa, how you wake up in the morning, how you enjoyed your morning. قال أصبحت مؤمنا بالله حقا. He said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I woke up early in the morning in the condition of real mu'min, with real iman. He used the word real iman, not mu'min. That I wake up in the morning as a believer. No. He said with real faith, with real iman. Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَقَالَ أُنظُرْ مَا تَقُولُ يَا حَارِسَةً. Harisa, look at, think what you are saying. Think about your words. What are you saying? Then Holy Prophet said, Inna likulli shay'in haqiqatun. Fama haqiqatu imanik. You are saying that I got up in a real state of iman. You are getting up in a state of real iman. Holy Prophet asked, there is reality of everything. Everything has its own reality. Holy Prophet asked, tell me, what is the reality of your iman? This was a question. Fama haqiqatu imanik. What is the reality of your faith, your iman? Now Hazrat Harisa replies. He said, Ya Rasulullah, فَقَالَ أَرَفْتُ نَفْسِي عَنِ الدُّنْيَا. Now these are the words of the companion Harisa. He said that I have taken my nafs out of dunya. I have taken my nafs out of dunya. Means that he said that I have taken the love of dunya out of my heart. And I have detached my inner self from love of dunya. He says, my reality of faith is that I have come out of the love of dunya. I have made my heart empty from love of dunya. Then, fastawa indi hajaruha wa zahabuha wa fiddatuha wa madaruha. Then, since I have cut off and turned myself away from the love of this world, since that day, the stones of this world, the gold of this world, the silver of this world, and the clay and dust of this world, everything has become equal in my eyes. It means the lust of each and everything of this world has went away, has emptied my heart. Now whether it is gold, or silver, whether it is stone or dust and clay, now I see everything of this world equal. So my heart is free of lust. And then he said, since my heart has become empty and free of the lust of the world, so now I pass my nights in wakefulness. My life has changed. This is what Harsa is saying. Now I pass my nights in wakefulness. I remain waking the whole night. And my days in thirst. I remain thirsty in the daytime. And I enjoy wakefulness in night time. And I enjoy the thirst. And what do you mean? Do you understand what is thirst does mean? It's not thirst of water. The whole day I remain thirsty for night. The thirst of night. I wait for the whole day, 12, 14, 16 hours, again for the next night to come. And I may meet with my night. I may spend some hours with my night. I may go into the company of my night. Why? Night gives me the wakefulness, and wakefulness gives me the company of Almighty Allah. Wakefulness takes me away from the world and brings me put into the company of Almighty Allah. Wakefulness brings me into the company of Malaika, angels. Wakefulness takes me away from the world to the company of Malai Allah, to the nearness of Allah, where the lights of Allah are showering, the blessings are showering. Everywhere I hear the words of zikr, and I see the anwar of the beauty of Allah. My body is in this world, and my soul is in Malai Allah. My body is on the farsh, and my soul lives in the arsh. So this is the condition of wakefulness. When the night ends, I remain thirsty the whole day, waiting for again next night to come, waiting for the darkness to come, so that in the darkness I may again meet with my beloved. I may see him. He said, this is the reality of my iman. Hi. And he says, my condition is that I feel Kani anzuru ila arsh rabbi barisa. I feel as if I have a vision now. I can see the arsh of Almighty Allah. Wa kani anzuru ila ahli al-jannah yatazawarun. And I feel as if I can see the people of Jannah meeting one another, going to see one another and to sit together. So my vision has expanded. When he narrated the whole story, Holy Prophet ﷺ said him 3 times, Fa'alzim qalaha salasin, fa'alzimha ya Harisa. Harisa, if you have achieved this position, now keep it and preserve this condition. Preserve it, ya Harisa. This is the reality of Iman. What is the use and benefit of Iman if we couldn't walk on this track? If we couldn't go forward to this destination? Falzimha, Harisa, then protect this condition, preserve this condition. Data Ganjabaksh Ali Hujweri says, this is the reality of Tasawwuf. To achieve the reality of Iman in this form, and to get your soul connected with Malai Allah, This is the basic excellence which Holy Prophet said, كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ أَن تَعْبُدَ اللَّهَ كَأَنَّكَ تَرَاهُ. Then he says, Zut Ali al-Hijwari in Kashf al-Mahjub, that if you purify your love, if you purify your love from every lust, every other lust, if your love is purified, then you are Safi, Sahibus Safa. If your love is purified, you are Safi. And if your friendship and love with Allah becomes exclusive, then you are Sufi, Sahibu Safu. Then you have got the reality of Tasawwuf. If your link with Allah is purified, and everything between you and your Lord has been taken away. What means by everything? And love and friendship with Allah is purified. What does it mean? First of all, take the dunya out of between you and your Lord. Take dunya out of this relationship. When you take dunya out of this relationship, then akhirah, the love of life hereafter, will replace the love of dunya. Then second stage would start. If you want to become Sahibus Saf, exclusive friend of Allah, and if you want to purify your love and friendship with Allah, then at the second stage, you have to take the love of akhirah between you. Take away the love of akhirah. And then, in the beginning, you are loving Allah because of akhirah, because of Jannah, because of the heavens, because of forgiveness, because of Allah's blessings. You were loving Almighty Allah because of these blessings in life hereafter. Now take all these blessings out and love the Allah just for sake of Allah. Don't love Almighty Allah for any other thing. If you become friend of Allah just for His sake, you become Sahibus Saf. This is the reality of Iman which you have achieved. Then Hazrat Data Ganjbakhsh Ali Hujwari says that Tasawwuf primarily is to achieve this destination, to achieve this reality of Iman. And this reality of Iman, you see, the achievement of the reality of Iman started from Az-Zuhd. He said, Araftu nafsi anid dunya. I took my nafs out of the love of dunya. So I want to make this show and communicate this message to your minds and hearts. And I want you to not only understand, to put this act, this word of advice in your heart, in your souls, and practice it. That this whole process starts from taking your heart and soul out of the love of the world. This is the beginning. Then you comes to the wakefulness of nights. Otherwise, wakefulness of nights can be again a loss of health. It can be just loss of health, and you can get nothing out of that. Wakefulness of night, it will be again loss of health, and you can gain nothing out of that. If your heart is in dunya and you are achieving the wakefulness of night, these are two contradictory things. No blessing of Almighty Allah in Tasawwuf, which has been mentioned, and in Faqr, and in Ruhaniyya, And in ta'alluq billah, no blessing can be achieved unless you take the first step, and that is taking the nafs out of the world. Means making your heart free of the love of world. And what is the evidence that you say that I have made my heart free of love of world? World has gone away from my heart. What would be the evidence? The evidence is then the stone and clay and gold and silver and having and not having, everything should be equal before you. If possessing and being snatched, you possess something or something has gone snatched, has gone away. You got something or you lost something. You are getting lesser, you are getting more. You are in profit, worldly profit, or you are in worldly loss. You are passing and living a good, facilitated and comfortable life, or you are living the life of difficulties. Whatever condition you are facing, if all conditions of life have become equal in your eyes, equal in your heart, equal in your soul, equal inner self of your life, then it means here is an evidence that your heart has been purified. And Allah's love has come into your heart. And your inner self is now being connected with the divinity and with Almighty Allah's company. God, this is the evidence of Allah's company. Evidence of Allah's company. If loss and profit, benefit and damage, having and not having, getting and losing, if all of these states and conditions of your life have become equal, if the pleasures and grievances, if all of these things have become equal in your eyes, then you can feel, you can say that I am becoming detached from the love of world, and Almighty Allah has accepted me for the attachment of His divinity. And if you feel and see the differences and different impacts on your heart, different impacts on your heart, and everything has a different influence on your character, on your life, on your thinking, and you become responsive to various things in different ways. You have different reactions to various actions. It means you are in this world and your heart is in the love of the world. So you have been completely disconnected and detached from the love and company of Almighty Allah. This is the beginning of Haqeeqatul Iman, beginning of Ihsan. When you get this beginning, when you achieve this reality, when you achieve this state of mind, and when you achieve this spiritual condition, then the next thing is the adab and akhlaq, the behavior of life and the manners of etiquettes. Then Data Ganjbakhsh Ali Hujweri quotes Shaykh Abu Hafs Haddad Naishapuri. He says, then at-tasawwuf kulluhu adabun. Tasawwuf, the whole of tasawwuf is the name of good morals. Tasawwuf is just good morals. Kulluhu adab. Likulli waqtin adabun. Likulli muqamin adabun. Wa likulli halin adabun. Data Ganjbakhsh quotes Abu Hafs Haddad Naishapuri. He says that everything is in adab. The basic thing is that for every time there is an adab. For every situation there is an adab. For every entire atmosphere of your life is full of adab and etiquettes. Relationship with Allah has an adab. Relationship with Holy Prophet has an adab. Relationship with your neighbors has an adab. Your relationship with your parents, there is an adab. Relationship with the children, there is an adab. Relationship with your friends, there is an adab. Relationship with your rufaka and friends, there is an adab. A special manner and etiquette. Relationship of worship, relationship of living in dunya, relationship of speaking, link with your speaking, how to speak, how to sit, how to behave, how to respond. They says every time, every act, everything has an adab. A specific spiritual manner and moral etiquette. If you preserve and protect all of these adab, good manners and good morals in your life, it means you are practicing al-ihsan and tasawwuf. Al-khalaqul hasana. If there is greed, hirs in your heart, it means you have left the adab. Lust is against adab. Being angry with others, against adab. Enmity with others is against adab. Criticism on others, friends, is against adab. The people belonging to various organizations, fulfilling their duties. Can't you consider this thing in your life? You are the judge. You are the decision makers of your own matters. We sit and always comment on others. We criticize on others' behaviors, and we never look at our own behavior. We are always negative towards others. It means the whole of adab, whole sum of adab has gone away from our life. So if we want adab and a life full of adab, so that the actual reality of iman and faith and tasawwuf can be achieved, then we have to restore each and every adab in our life. Then Dars-e Ganjbakhsh has quoted Shaykh Abul Hasan, and he is Shaykh Abul Hasan Nuri. His statement, he says, Laysat tasawwuf rusuman wala uluman walakinnahu akhlaq. This is Hazrat Data Ganjbakhsh Ali Hujweri, and he quotes Shaykh Abul Hasan. He says, Tasawwuf is neither the rusum, Tasawwuf is neither the customs and traditions and conventions. It is not customs. Wala uluman, it is not the collection of knowledge. Tasawwuf is not the academics. Tasawwuf is not the philosophy. It is the essence. Tasawwuf is not the speeches. It is the practice. Tasawwuf is not the externality. It is the internality. He says tasawwuf is neither customs and conventions and traditions, and not ulum, the sciences and academics and philosophies and sciences. No. وَلَكِنَّهُ أَخْلَاقٌ. The whole of tasawwuf is morality. If there is no morality left, then there is no adab left. If there is no adab left, there is no tasawwuf left. And there is no deen left. And Holy Prophet said again, ad-deenu kulluhu adab. Tasawwuf, the whole sum of tasawwuf is adab. The whole sum of deen is adab. The whole sum of deen is adab. And the whole sum of iman is adab. You can judge your own condition of your heart while listening to a nasiha. Listening to a nasiha, tazkir. Tazakkur. Zakkir innama anta muzakkir. Listening to a zikr, nasiha, tazkir, this lesson, you may judge what is the condition of your hearts. Just look at your hearts. What is the condition of your hearts? Like stone? No effect? Or it is affected? If you feel no effect, it means it has hardened like stones. That the nasiha and tazkir, as Holy Quran said, if the hearts and souls are dead and hardened like stones, said you are worse than stones. At least they accept some influence and impact of the weather. And you have become absolutely free from every kind of the influence of nasiha. This is what Almighty Allah said in Surah Al-Baqarah in Holy Quran. You are the judge and we are the judge. Look at your own life. It is full of adab. Adab al-akhlaqul hasana. Al-adabus salihah. Then we are on the right path. And if we have been deprived of these adab in our life, then we are on the wrong path. Then Data Ganjbakhsh Ali Hujweri, he quotes Hazrat Shaykh Abu Ali Al-Qarmini, his statement. He says, At-tasawwuf huwa al-akhlaqur radiyya. All those morals which are the pleased morals. Almighty Allah is pleased with them. So adopting these kind of morals is known as tasawwuf. Then he quotes again Shaykh Abul Hasan Nuri, says, At-tasawwuf huwa al-hurriyya wal-futuwwa wa tarku takalluf wa sakha wa bazlu dunya. He says tasawwuf is 5 things. Tasawwuf is name of 5 things. Number 1, liberty. Liberty from what? Liberty from lust of dunya. Liberty from hope of dunya. Love of dunya. This is the liberty. Al-Hurriya. Liberate yourself from the chains of love of dunya. Wal-Futuwa. And Futuwa is generosity and sacrifice. This is tasawwuf. The highness, the excellence of Islamic morality. The excellence of spiritual values. First of all, says tasawwuf is combination of just 5 characteristics. Tasawwuf is combination of 5 characteristics. First is liberty from love of dunya. The second, al-futuwwa. This is generosity and sacrifice. And Sahibu Ta'arruf le Mazhabi Tasawwuf, another Shaykh of Data Ganjbakhsh Ali Hujweri, Shaykh Talabazi, says, At-tasawwuf huwa isarul isar. Al-Futuwa is isar. And Sayyidina Ghawsul Azam radiyallahu ta'ala anhu again says in Ghuniyatul Talibin, Al-Futuwa. One meaning is Al-Futuwa, it is isar, to sacrifice your choice, to sacrifice yourself, to sacrifice your benefit, to sacrifice your comfort, to sacrifice your preference. This is Isar, Al-Futuwa. And Data Ganjbakhsh Ali Hujweri is another Shaykh, writes in At-Ta'arruf le Mazhab Tasawwuf, At-Tasawwuf huwa isarul isar. Yusiruna ala anfusihim walau kana bihim khasasa. This is sacrifice of sacrifice. Isarul isar. What does it mean? It means, they say that the meaning of isarul isar is, you should prefer that my friend should prefer. This is Isarul Isar. You should prefer that the other one should prefer. There are two options available to you. You have your own option in front of you, and your friend, your brother, your Rafiq, your colleague has an option in front of her and in front of him. So you have your own choice and he has his own choice. You have your own preference and you know that my friend has his own preference. So two preferences are in front of you. Your preference and your brother's or friend's preference. So Shaykh says, this tasawwuf Isarul Isar. He says, you should prefer that my friend should prefer. His choice should be given preference. There are two stages of futuwwah. Al-Isar and Isarul Isar. Isar means, Holy Prophet said, La yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsihi. No one can be a mu'min and faithful and believer unless he loves for his friend whatever he loves for himself. It means you have the choice. In this hadith, what does it mean? The choice is with you. Hatta yuhibba li akhihi. You have to choose for your friend. But the same thing what you choose for yourself. You understand the point? You are choosing. You are the chooser. You are the preferer. You are the decision maker. You are the judge. And what are you doing? Yuhibba li akhihi ma yuhibbu li nafsihi. The first stage of Isar, that is Iman, is that whatever you prefer for yourself, you are preferring and choosing the same for your friend. This is the first stage. And the second stage is Isarul Isar. Isarul Isar means sacrifice of your preference. Sacrifice of your choosing, of your option. Don't choose neither for you nor for your friend. Don't choose anything, nor for you, neither for you nor for preference. Give a sacrifice of your preference and choosing. This is Isarul Isar. Keep quiet and prefer that he should give his option. Whatever he chooses, give it to him and remain happy with his option and choosing. If you become happy and pleased with his happiness, if you are pleased with his pleasure, is your option is his option, is your preference is his preference, if he's smiling, he's being happy, being pleased, being in comfort, is his well-being, gives you a comfort, gives you a pleasure, gives you a happiness, then this is Isarul Isar. It means you are achieving the Haqeeqat of Iman. This is the higher stage. So he says that liberty from the love of this world, generosity and sacrifice of your options and preferences, and simplicity of heart, tarkut takalluf. Free yourself from the bonds of desire and free yourself from useless troubles, useless difficulties, useless complex desires and problems. Don't create problems in your own life on your own. This is takalluf. Don't put yourself in difficulty. I can't live without this. I can't live without this. This is necessary for me. This is indispensable for me. This is inevitable for me. This thing, I hate this thing. I can't accept this. I feel happy with this. He says, Tarkut takalluf. Leave all these bonds. And then wasakha. And then become generous to everyone. And benevolent to anyone. Be benevolent to anyone, everyone. And bazlud dunya, and leave the love of dunya, finish the love of dunya from your heart. Don't think of the rewards of dunya. Don't wait for the rewards of dunya. Don't look at the responses and reactions of the people. Don't look at their behavior, how do they behave to you. Just do behave as your beloved wants you to behave. As your Lord wants you to behave. As your Allah wants you to behave. Finish. He is behaving with you nicely or wrongly. He has friendship with you or enmity with you. He has an anger with you or he is pleased with you. He wants to cause you a damage and loss or he wants to cause you any benefit. Don't look at others' behaviors. You would become responsive and reactive. You would become responsive and reactive to others' behavior. It means now you are being controlled by others. You are being influenced by the acts of other people. You are under the control of the acts of other people. If they want to make you a nice man, you will become a nice man. And if they want to keep you bad and worse, you will remain worse because you are responding to them and to their behavior. And you are getting influenced by their acts, their deeds, their sayings. You say, look, he said this to me. Look, he is doing this to me. He is very bad to me. He doesn't like me. He hates me. He is not giving me full reward. He is negative to me. When the whole time you are thinking about others, when will you think about your own self? And then when will you start thinking about your beloved Allah? So he said, get liberties from all of these bonds and become in a true, sincere and exclusive company of Allah. And this is the company of your heart, company of your mind, company of your thoughts, and company of your inner self, and company of your life. Finish all external influences on your life and just live with the influence of Allah. This is what Huzur Data Ganj Bakhsh has mentioned about Tasawwuf in Kashful Mahjoob, that the whole Tasawwuf and the whole of Ruhaniyah and the whole of Deen is based on this reality. This is Imam Abu Bakr bin Ishaq al-Kalabazi. He died in 380. At-Tarruf li-Mazhab Ahl al-Tasawwuf. Again, one of the shuyukhs and teachers of Data Ganj Bakhsh Ali Hujweri. And Huzur Ghawsul Azam also quotes in his shuyukh of knowledge. He says that Tasawwuf is, and he quotes Imam Ibn Ata. He says Tasawwuf is al-istirsalu ma'al haqq. Very simple. He says, what is Tasawwuf? He said Tasawwuf is to be being at ease with Allah. This is Tasawwuf. Always remain at ease with Allah. Remain happy with Allah's pleasure, with Allah's decisions, with Allah's fate. Whatever Allah does to you, remain at ease with Him in loss and profit, in health and illness, in good situation or bad, in comfort or discomfort. Always remain comfort and ease, being at ease with Almighty Allah and being at comfort with Almighty Allah, and to remain in pleasure with Almighty Allah. He says just being like this is Tasawwuf. And Shaykh Abu Yaqub, he quotes, he says, As-Sufiyyu huwa allazi la yuz'ijuhu sabun wa la yut'ibuhu talabun. He says, what is Tasawwuf? And what is Ruhaniyah? What is spirituality? And what is reality of faith? He says it means that if anything is snatched and taken away from you, you are not disturbed. And if you ask anything and you feel in need of anything and you ask anything, so demand and need of anything does not make you upset. Any demand doesn't make you upset. Any benefit, get the desire of getting any benefit, desire of getting something doesn't make you upset. And loss of anything from your life doesn't disturb your life. If you achieve this status of stability, spiritual firmness, then you have achieved the reality of Iman, at-Tasawuf. And then he says, at-Tasawuf is the name of 10 things. And among them, the basic thing is Husnul Ishra. Husnul Ishra. Good fellowship. Provide good fellowship to others. This is Tasawwuf. Good fellowship to others. It means don't be critical to others. Don't be negative to others. Don't show the people your anger, your displeasure, your uneasiness. Don't be disturbed with others. Give a very good, comforting and pleasing fellowship to the people. And this fellowship means ar-rafaqa. And the fellow means rafiq. To be a good rafiq is tasawwuf. To be an ideal rafiq and rafiqa. To be very nice and good fellows, colleagues. This is tasawwuf. And they say this fellowship, again tasawwuf, says cannot be achieved unless you yield up your personal choices. He says, the Shaykh Imam says, this fellowship, there is a condition, good for good fellowship, Husnul Ishra. Husnul Ishra, good fellowship, is impossible unless you yield up your personal choices. If you are chained in your own personal choices, likings, desires, options, personal choices, if you are chained, there are many chains against you. So it means you have lost the liberty and you have been curtailed, confined by your personal choices. Then it is impossible to become a good fellow. A good fellow is the one who sacrifices his personal choice for others. Sacrifices his personal choice for others. He is a good sahib, a good rafiq. And his sohbah, company is a good sohbah. And that man is sahibut tasawwuf, whose sohbah is good, whose company is good, whose fellowship is good. And again, very important thing he says, that any nasiha, anything which you listen, don't listen through the ears of knowledge only. Listen through the ears of spiritual experience. He says, don't depend on just the knowledge, because I have already explained, knowledge takes you nowhere. He said, base your view on spiritual experience. Have the knowledge, and through knowledge enter into the spiritual experience. And spiritual experience starts from the reality of Iman, taking the hub, love of dunya out from your heart. This is the whole process. interlinked and interconnected process, one by one, stage by stage. So this process will, when the love of dunya will go out of your heart, and your heart will get liberty from world. So liberty will provide you tarkul ikhtiyar, the yielding up of your own choice. And when you yield up your own choice, it means now you are at the stage of isar. You are preferring the preference of others. This will make you a good fellow. And good fellow is a Sufi, and a good fellow is Wali. And he is a beloved man of Almighty Allah. So the whole of Tasawwuf, the whole of spirituality is to achieve these moral and spiritual conditions in your life. I pray Almighty Allah, and I hope that Almighty Allah will bless us with His prayers. And whatever we have said and we have listened, we have heard, Almighty Allah will make the whole of this subject as our spiritual state of mind, as our spiritual condition of the inner self and life. So we have to put everything in our practice so that a big change occurs in our life and a new era starts in our life. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ.